So your energy manifests, and I get this vision of a bat, and it's this really cute little bat, and it's flying around, and it's doing that sonar echolocation kind of detection, and it's flying, and I see you kind of at the top of this cave, and on the top of the cave there are all those they look like those two, like like reverse mountains. I don't know, there's a specific name for them, but on the top of the cave, when the I don't know, sediment drips. I don't know if even that's the right term, but it creates like that thick base at the bottom. It's almost like an icicle, but in a cave. And so I see you as this bat, and you're sending out all this echolocation, and you're trying to figure out how to get through and navigate through all of these like cave icicles, and so you keep moving left and right and back and forth, and you're trying so hard to find this path of least resistance type of thing to get through, that you're not going to get hurt, you're not going to get injured, and you can't find any path. And so then you kind of sink down lower and towards the bottom of the cave. Now all these icicles are reversed but growing from the bottom of the cave, and so it's almost like these teeth coming together, blocking any clear path in the cave. And so there's no easy path for you, is what I'm getting. And you are this bat, and your energy is this bat. And so I see that there's like no easy path. And so finally it's like you kind of give in, and you let yourself fall to the very bottom of the cave, and you start to walk. And this is the slow path. It's like, I can't run, I'm gonna walk type of a thing. So like they say, you have to walk before you run. So I see you now at the bottom of the cave, your wings kind of curled in around you, and you're sending out these echolocations, and I see it hits one of those big like jagged mounds, and so you have to curve to the left, and then you send out your echolocation, and it hits something on the right, so you have to curve again. And so you're constantly like testing the waters and navigating, and it's this slow kind of tedious process where the bat should be able to fly straight through. Your path was really kind of blocked, and so you took this like very slow, calculated path to make sure that there was no injury or harm or whatnot. And so you finally get to the end of all this. All these like teeth within the cave, and now you're standing at this cliff, and it's like you're looking out to this black abyss, and I see this huge blackness, this cavern in front of you, and you're walking the line of the cliff, and you're sending out your sonar again, and nothing's coming back. It like goes out and nothing bounces back to you. And so there's this huge just open black abyss in front of you, and I see you start to get really scared and really like what's out there. There's this kind of fear component that sets in. And even with all of that, you blindly kind of go. It's like, even though you're feeling all these emotions tied to what could be out there, it's like you just leap and you jump for it. And so you start flying, and you're flying for a really long time, and I see you tilt your head to the left and send out your echolocation, and you turn your head to the right and you send it out that way, and nothing's coming back to you, and you have no clue where you're going, and it's like you're just kind of flying blind basically, and you're trying so hard to keep up your strength and have the courage and the will kind of to move on. And it's like, and the further you get, you start to question it more and more. And so now as you're sending out this sonar, nothing's coming back to you. I see these thoughts in your head of turning around and going back, and I see that you're the vision of that cave that you jumped from, and the familiarity of that, and it's like you finally go, I can't do it, I can't, I'm not going to be that weak, I'm not going to turn back. And so you push on, and you're tired and you're hurt, and it's like and I see you flying to the top and to the bottom, and there's no landing point, so you're again scared to trust in like letting go and falling down, because you have no clue if there's anything that's going to catch you at the bottom of this black abyss. And so you keep going forward, and as you move forward, then the next scene is this, like, I see you get to this light filled like fruit tree forest, right? So it's like bat heaven, I would take it as. And you fly, and you like basically land on the edge of this cliff, and you're looking at like hundreds of fruit producing trees, and you see all of these bats that are up in the trees, and they're all just gorging on the fruit that's within these trees, and I see you staring up. So you start walking, you don't fly. I see you start to get really like timid, and your shoulders start hunching over, and I see your little bat head like look up at all these bats that are just gorging and eating and enjoying, and they're actually like eating this fruit that's so ripe that it's like the juice is like coming down on you. And I see you look up, and it's like you walk and you're thinking like, I'd really like that fruit, I really want that fruit, I want to eat up there, but there's this shame that takes over, and I'm not sure, but I'm getting shame. And so I get this flash too of that movie that just came out, the monkey movie, and they talk about the hierarchy of these monkeys in a family, and like those who are on the lowest part of the branch are like the lowest in this monkey society. And so I'm getting these flashes of this, and the fact that you're walking on the ground and watching all these monkeys just like shove their face full of fruit, and you're not partaking in it. There is this overwhelming like feeling of shame and unworthiness, and I'm not sure, but you walk this whole field of fruit trees and watch these other bats eat the fruit, and you decide not to eat the fruit. And so you get to the very end, and you're at another cliff looking out into another black abyss. And so as I see this happen, you take this deep breath and you jump this time, not much thought, and you start flying. And so I see you flying, and with every beat of your wings, you get stronger and stronger to where you're a little Superman bat flying, and you like every inch you fly makes you that much more strong and resilient, and like just I see this bat that is now like soaring. You don't care what's up ahead, you don't care how far it is, you even are like, this could be 5 abysses from what I had to fly the first time, and I'd be okay. And it's like the strength that you have and you have earned from whatever you had to deal with is like fully empowering you to move forward and to move on, and there's no more fear of what's coming up, or how far, how long, how hard you have to fight. It's like everything, you have confidence in everything. And so as I get this, then I see your energy now manifests onto the rainbow road, and you go running towards the door, which is going to take us to the next component of the reading. And so the door frame represents basically where you move through, and I can then kind of see where you are in the chakras. And so as you jump, you like literally jump through this door frame head first, like you're taking a swan dive, and you move right through, and I get a really quick glimpse of like Sonic the Hedgehog moving through a golden ring. And as you like jump through this ring, as you like go through it, you turn around, and it's almost like you get a coin from moving through this obstacle, like it's a game, like a Nintendo game or something. And I hear that little ding, and it's like you get this coin and you land down on the other side. And so I'm totally, from everything that's been read so far, I'm feeling that this is solar plexus chakra. Shame is the shadow side of solar plexus chakra. Confidence and willpower is the balanced solar plexus chakra. So I know we're getting a big pull here with solar plexus chakra. So the golden ring represents you moving through the solar plexus chakra, and the fact that you get this coin, I'm getting this like complete success of moving through the energy of the solar plexus chakra. And so as you land down on the ground, now you have this huge quarter, and I see you take the shape of a human, and you have this huge quarter in your hand, and you walk up to your Akashic records. And as you walk up to your Akashic records, it's like this huge bank. It's the side of a bank, and I see you take this huge quarter, almost like a slot machine, and you deposit it into the bank. And as you do that, the door opens. And so I'm a child of the 80s, so I get a total Scrooge McDuck feeling here. As you walk into the vault, basically, you are surrounded by all of these like golden coins stacked up, and I'm going, okay, what's the hook, what's the catch here? Because usually the first entrance in is there's something to be learned from it. And so as you move in, I see that I'm going, okay, well, maybe this isn't going to be accessible money here in the records, but I see that it is accessible money, and this is like all the abundance that's like waiting for you, that's within your life, that's surrounding you. And so we call down your higher self. Your higher self comes down, and your higher self like swan dives down like Scrooge McDuck did into his money and starts like swimming through the golden coins, and then comes down with us face to face. I don't have to ask questions, and basically start saying, the title of your reading was Help, Why Me? So they basically start directing me to, there was a component in your process of shame, and this might still be something depending on where you are within the reading so far, what phase you're at. I feel like this has been kind of the beginning to end phase of what awaits you in this timeline, if you want it to manifest as such. And so, if you're that bat that's taking the leap, or if you're that bat that's watching everybody else, gorge themselves full of whatever, but you're choosing to abstain at this point, or if you're that bat that's flying through the second abyss and has strength and courage and no fear over the future, wherever you are in this timeline so far, I feel like the end result of this complete abundance surrounding you is the potential that's there for you. But I'm getting the title they told me of the reading was Help, Why Me? And that pulls me back to the feeling of the shame. And so your higher self basically starts to express to me that there is a component of shame that was had within this. And I did ask, I attached this, and I have to assume this is relating to the business that you questioned within the subject of the email. But so I'm now asking your higher self, so what's the meaning of the title, and compared to the symbology that's kind of come through so far in your higher self is basically pulling me to an example of, let's just say there was a point when somebody, maybe you were partnered with somebody. I'm going to use examples here. So like if you were partnered with somebody going into a business venture, and this person stole from you and took liberties that they weren't entitled to, but they were a partner, and however it ended was really bad, and it ended with them leaving, but trying to take some component of the business away from you. Your higher self is saying in this example that this is, from a grand perspective, or from the highest, most loving perspective, this is the only way that you could fully own the energy of the situation, and have somebody completely detach their energy from the situation and give back to you the power that you had invested in the other person, when that power should have always had been invested in you. And there's a with the solar plexus chakra, when we feel shame, and they were showing me a component of my journey as well, where I had come into success very early in life, in my 19s and 20s, and I had chosen not to go to college, and I had buried a feeling of unworthiness or shame, that so many people in hiring positions felt they trusted me, and they saw something in me that I, of course, was excited about, but it covered up the fact that I always felt shame over the fact that I didn't go to college and didn't go through the typical expectations of other people, and what, a director or a supervisor of somebody should be. And so I always held this component of shame within my being, and until I released that and gave back the power to the people who were holding power over me that I had given my power to, I couldn't fully come into the full abundance that was waiting for me. And so I'm getting that same component mixed into your journey here, and it feels like it might be attached to someone, because we were seeing all the bats kind of gorge themselves on the fruit, and just how they explain the examples. But it feels like that maybe you had given your power over to somebody, maybe they did you wrong, and maybe it caused that feeling of shame that, whether you admit it or have realized it or not, was caused by this person possibly, that the break or the detachment from them, or this energy being pulled out of your life, was the only way to, and that's of course an example, I don't know if this happened or not, but the only way to give you back the power that you had given over to somebody else, and then that person was holding this power over you. And so when everything started to break down, you felt like you weren't that Superman bat. You didn't have that capacity to be 100% trusting in yourself and trusting in what was to come. And so whether you have figured out what that component of shame is, and I'm pulled back to the title, Help, Why Me? Whatever you would attach to that title, whatever situation made you maybe feel that or say that, like, God, why me? Why'd you do this to me? Type of a thing. Whoever caused you to say that out kind of to the universe, I would look at those interactions and see how you would inevitably giving your power over to that person, where when they did whatever they did, it resulted in you feeling powerless because you'd given the power over, and which then results in like a feeling of shame. So I get that that's maybe the one component that that once that's figured out and acknowledged, that feels like the life lesson here within whatever's going on. And as soon as we learn our lessons, and we learn them on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level, then the abundance opens up, and the true divinity of the experience is able to flow through, and there is a ton of abundance waiting for you here. So with light and love.